Hi guys, Allison Brown here again, video number 3, introducing you to the Small Business Marketing Gap course. Today I promised to share with you a breakthrough that I had in my first business when I was struggling to get paid what I was worth as a freelancer. Everyone says breakthrough, but this really was. I'm also going to talk to you about the one quality that all great marketers in my experience share that you can adopt today, and I believe it will give you a leg up in these uncertain times and will help you thrive in your marketing and your business when the world gets back to normal. And then you're going to want to have a pen and paper handy for the next part, which is I'm going to show you why your marketing isn't working. You're going to see that by the end of this video, and I am going to give you my business to brand framework, the one that has been the basis of my career, my agency, and the awards we've won. Before that, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for watching my last videos, for all of the interactions on Instagram and on Facebook, the DMs and the conversations, and even on my new YouTube channel I got a comment. So I can't believe it, guys. We have sold 6 spots of the 10 to keeners who just booked a call with me, and I've got more calls booked for tomorrow. So if you are keen and you want to reserve one of the spots, look for the Calendly link nearby. Let's recap as quickly as I can. In the last videos, we talked about these crazy times and the opportunity we all have to choose how we respond, to step up, to create, serve, and lead in our communities. We got clear on what the small business marketing gap is. Yep, I see you, boss. Guess marketing yourself to death. Busy enough to need help, but not busy enough to afford an agency. Some of you commented that my description of the small business marketing gap gave you a little bit of PTSD because it was a little too real. But we're going to fix that. And one of the other things we talked about was just you and the difference you make in the world for customers and employees as a small business owner. And that's why I'm on a mission to empower and equip small business owners with the knowledge, skills, and strategy to take control of your marketing and lead your vision from business to brand. I shared with you that though I'm a business owner, I wasn't first bit by the entrepreneur bug. I was, and I still am, lit up to help entrepreneurs, other entrepreneurs, realize their vision. And I shared my secret, which is that I have a love-hate relationship with marketing. I love it when it's used to help and serve. I hate it when it's used to manipulate. Just like plastic surgery, you only notice it, the icky stuff, when it's done wrong. So I told you something that I know excited a bunch of you. Based on the feedback and some of the questions, I had a fervent DM back and forth with somebody who was so excited. Yeah, marketing is only 10% creative. So let yourself off the hook if you don't feel creative. It is 90% process. And what I'm going to show today is actually going to prove that to you. So don't let your belief that you're not creative or not a good copywriter stop you. So I promised a breakthrough. I'm going to share the breakthrough. Let's go back. It was early 2000s. I was basically a kid. I was less than a year into my freelance graphic design gig, and I was working with my business coach, John Neuenberg. Shout out to John. That man added so much value to my life. Get a coach. We were only a few weeks in when I brought a problem to him, which was that I was spending way more time on projects than I had quoted, and I wasn't making any money. I was making more at Starbucks at that point than I was in my freelance profession. So he asked me why, and I explained that I would be hired to design an ad for a small business, and when I would ask for content, they would give me all this fluff that I knew wouldn't work. So I would spend hours interviewing them about their business, digging deep to understand their product or their service or their process, and deeper into understanding their client. It would get the job done really well, and so they would come back. And every time I would think, okay, well, this time they'll come prepared, but nope. So when I shared this with John, what he told me 7x'd my revenue that month. It launched me toward my career that I have today and the business I have today, and became an essential part of the framework I'm going to teach. John told me that I was selling the wrong thing. I was selling myself as a graphic designer. And what he told me is that people didn't buy the fact that they weren't buying the value I was providing as a graphic designer. In fact, he told me there was lots of those that were better than me. Thanks, John. But what he said is you're leaving all the money for the real value that you provide, the stuff that they want from you on the table, and you're giving it away. He was telling me that it's not the designs that I was doing, it's not the piece that I was creating. People were buying from me because of the stuff I did before I did the design that made their marketing work. And then all of a sudden, I felt a little taken advantage of, like customers had just let me sweat for pennies on the dollar, knowing that this girl was calling it graphic design, but was doing all this work, for free. And John talked me off that ledge too, explaining that they don't know, how it is that I arrive at my results, and they have no idea, and it's not their job to know that the way that I'm doing things is different. It was up to me to understand my value and to position it to them and to sell it for what it's worth. So there's 2 lessons I want you to take from this. Do you know what your clients truly value about what you do? Are you giving away the piece they value the most? Take a look. I went from charging an average of $1,500 on an advertising project to charging $10,000 overnight. I'd say that's a pretty good breakthrough. The second lesson I gleaned from my breakthrough moment is that people don't buy what you do, they buy a result. So just like you don't buy a drill bit to have a drill bit in your toolbox, you buy a drill bit to drill a hole. You want the hole that it creates, right? My clients weren't coming back over and over because I was a great graphic designer. They weren't even coming back for my now premium $10,000 discovery process. They don't really want to buy either of those things. They wanted to buy whatever results that they valued that I was providing. So of course they liked that the advertising and the marketing worked better. But when I dug deeper, what was amazing to me is that one of the top things they valued and mentioned was the sense of ease and trust they felt in being able to follow my lead, in not having to make up the decisions themselves, and the pride they felt in their business once I promoted it. Okay, next lesson. I promise to share with you today the one quality that over the last 21 years has been in every rockstar marketer I admire. It's something that you can adopt today, and it's important to understand that this is the kickoff point for every brilliant marketing strategy, every piece of marketing content, or every campaign ever created. It's also the inflection point or the turning point in problem solving. And this quality is so underrated, I think you're probably going to have a moment of letdown when I tell you what it is. But I want you to push through that, and I want you to write it in really big letters. In fact, put it on a sticky note and stick it wherever you're going to see it every day. This quality is curiosity. Curiosity is so important to me and to our agency and the results that we create that it's become one of our core values. Despite popular belief, marketing does not begin with creativity. It does not begin with a content calendar, contrary to what you'll see all over Instagram and surface level marketing tips. And it does not begin with a tactical plan or a conversion funnel. Marketing always begins with curiosity, a curiosity about the market, a curiosity about the problem, a curiosity about the solution and why it's not working or why it is working. It's always curiosity. So here's a tip. If you sit down to write content for an email blast or a social media post and you don't know what to say, if you aren't brimming with ideas for questions that you can answer and ways that you can help your audience, that's your clue that you don't truly understand your audience. You need to get more curious. So how do you get to understand them? We've all heard the term market research. It's something agencies charge $5,000 to $50,000 for. But at its core, market research is just a fancy word for asking your customers what matters to them. And notice I didn't say asking your customers what they want. When your marketing reaches beyond what they want and touches deeper down to what matters to them, that's when you get noticed. That's when you gain influence and trust, and that's when you earn a customer for life. Okay, guys, this is it. Put a line, like a section. We've just had lesson 1, lesson 2. This is lesson 3, and this one's going to take a lot of pages, so find some space. This is actually the heart and soul of my process. If I had a secret formula, this would be it. And the core of the course is this content. This is why you're here, okay? I'm going to give you the answer to why your marketing isn't working, and why you're wasting time and burning precious calories with guest marketing, and why when you hire someone to help you with your marketing, whether they be on your team or a freelancer or contractor, why they just don't get you. So to guide you to this answer, I have to back up to that moment in your life when you realize that, wow, I think I actually have a business here. This could be big. Do you remember that time? It often comes shortly after a period of struggle or really hard work, honing your craft, and just after that first happy client or raving fan that makes you feel like a superhero for the problem that you've solved. And you realize, oh, this is it. So your confidence is high, and with that you attract 1 or 2 or a handful of customers, and you think to yourself, yep, I definitely have a business here. So of course, the next logical step in your head is, I need marketing. Here's what the world thinks the business to brand marketing journey looks. Number one, business evidence, which is I've got something here, the I've got something here moment. That's business evidence. Number two, marketing, which is in people's minds, cool campaign, creative visuals, all the customers rolling in. Number three, brand domination. All these people notice, I'm a big success. This is what people are often asking me about, like, how can I build my brand? And they're really saying, like, how can I be popular, right? So that is what people think, that it's business evidence, then you lead that into marketing and you lead that into brand domination. This is wrong. This is so flat out wrong. It's a misconception. And it's what has you stuck and constantly guessing, running faster and faster on the hamster wheel to come up with new ideas. Up at night with imposter syndrome, feeling like you have no idea what you're doing and ultimately running on empty of energy, belief, and money. So here's what the business to brand journey actually looks like. Number one, business evidence. I've got something here. Number two, product market fit research. Number three, product market fit testing. Number four, offer and value tiers on your retail shelf. Number five, audience building. Number six, brand positioning. Number seven, customer activation. This is the stuff like Facebook ads, and this is stuff that you're trying to do now. And number eight, not brand domination, but brand leadership. Okay? You can see there's a few steps missing in what you're doing right now. Next time you find yourself pulling your hair out, questioning yourself, and feeling like you're guessing, it's because you are. You just missed a few steps. And this isn't to make you wrong. This is what every business does. And interestingly enough, it's what you will, even after you know this framework, it's what you'll be tempted to do again. And I can tell you that because I'm in the midst of launching a brand new course, a brand new product to a brand new market. And even I, 21 years of experience, had to use this framework to keep me accountable to going through the steps, step by step, and not jumping ahead. It's just human nature, okay? So this framework is not only an instruction map or manual, it's an accountability tool to make sure that you don't rush ahead and waste money. I'll say it again, marketing is not a mystery. And just because you don't consider yourself creative, you are not doomed. Successful marketing is, can you repeat it yet? 10% creative and 90% process. So I'm going to try as best I can to give you a little bit more detail on this framework. This is really the crux of the course. Like, I'm going to go into this over 12 weeks, guys. So there's only so much I can do now. But I want to try to give you an introduction to these phases so that, maybe just even the concepts can get you further ahead in your business. Number one, business evidence. We talked about that. That's that idea that you have something here. And in this phase, you're spending a ton of time in your business, working in your business, honing your product or service or skill, and getting confident enough to sell it. Okay? It's all about you and you perfecting what you do. Number two, product market fit research. This overlooked step might be the most critical. It's not just for your marketing, but for your profitability and scalability too. This is where essentially we have to detach ourselves from how in love we are from our product or service or business model and look at things through our customer's perspective, what matters to them and what you're not addressing for them. And during this phase, we must disassociate from our own biases and take the approach that your opinion, skills, experience, expertise, and even your vision mean nothing. You will get back to caring about those things, I promise, but in this phase, it's all about seeing your product, service, or company and marketplace through the lens of your customer, understanding what matters most to them. In the course, I'm actually going to be teaching you how to do qualitative research, and that's going to be worth, or it's going to save you, a minimum of $5,000 and up to $50,000 that I know no small business has in their budget. I'm also going to teach you our focus formula, and it is a worksheet that essentially you drop all of the customer research information into, and it's essentially spits out marketing, advertising messages, content, and campaign ideas, and even long-form copy for email marketing, websites, proposals, and more. And it also shows you in black and white what areas of your opportunity there are to innovate your product or service to provide more value and potentially charge more. It's freaking magic. It totally eliminates writer's block and campaign fatigue. Okay? Number 3 in the business to brand phases, product market fit feedback. Have you ever been to a focus group where a brand asks for feedback on a campaign or a product? Well, it's sort of like that, but it's for small business. And it's a way that we do a series of tests through free measures, free or low cost, to test that the messages that you've created from your focus framework are effective before you spend any dollars in promoting them. Number 4, value offers and retail shelf. So for those of you who don't have a retail store or a physical product, you might be thinking that this whole course doesn't apply to you because I just said retail shelf. But in fact, defining the retail shelf is more important when you don't have a physical product to offer than it is if you had a physical product. You need to take your intangible service and make the value proposition so clear and have it speak directly to the hearts of your customers so well that they figuratively can feel like as though they could reach and pull that product off the shelf, and they would understand exactly the value they're going to get. So let's talk about an example of that. Let's say that you are a personal trainer offering personal training services. Technically, you serve or could serve anyone, but that message will attract no one. During the product market fit, you learned who your customers are and what they need and what matters to them, and now you can talk about your product, personal training, in their terms so that it jumps off the shelf at your niche. Perhaps, with your audience, you happen to survey and you find out that you've got a particular strength in serving seniors, and these are active seniors who want to stay healthy, avoid the slip and fall accidents that seniors become susceptible to, and they just want to be able to get up and down off the floor with ease to play puzzles with their grandkids. So maybe rather than personal training, you offer mobility and flexibility training for independent seniors. That's an example of positioning an offer and merchandising your retail shelf with a service. For others of you, your research during the product market fit phase could have resulted in your customers identifying a new product that you can offer, similar to my experience in my breakthrough moment when I learned that I was giving away a valuable service that was kind of hidden in the weeds of an existing one. I went from offering graphic design for $100 an hour, working more hours than I was getting paid for, and an average of about $1,500 on an invoice. And I added this service called Brand Discovery, and it ranged in price from $5,000 to $15,000 and increased my monthly revenue 7 times. So this is a high-level overview of retail shelf and your value offers. Step 5 in the phases, audience building. This step is specific to small businesses. Before you have revenue set aside of like $30,000 to $60,000 a year for advertising, you have to be looking at the free and inexpensive ways to build your audience and your authority, your credibility, and your reputation. You're probably doing a lot of the activities right now for audience building, things like social media, networking, referral partnerships, but with inconsistent results. And the inconsistency comes from not having done the previous steps in this process. So once we do the research and we clarify your message through the focus framework, you'll be doing all of these steps much more, or you'll be doing all of your audience building much more effectively. One of the things I often say to people is that it's never been cheaper or easier to spread the word. So if what you're doing right now and the word that you're spreading isn't bringing you the customers that you want, simply spending money on advertising to boost a post or to spread that message further and to get it in front of more people is not going to be the answer. It's not the spreading of the word that's not working, it's the word that's not working. And so by the time you get to audience building, with this process, you will have insight and have created the word, the message that is effective for your audience. Okay, number 6 is brand strategy. A brand strategy is the articulation and plan for how you intend to make an impact and how you intertwine with the lives, hearts, and minds of your audience. It sounds so fluffy when you talk about it, but it's so powerful. But here's the thing, I can't really explain the power of this until you've been through the previous phases. Because I'm going to guess if I tell you what's at the core of a brand strategy, it's going to sound a lot like an exercise you've done before. The core of a brand strategy is who you are, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, and the impact you make as a business. And I bet a lot of times, a lot of you have sat around a table and brainstormed or worked with a coach and created a document, a brand document of some kind, and confuse it for brand strategy. But it's not. That is more like, I'm going to say like a vision document, a brand vision document, not a brand strategy. A brand strategy also takes into consideration your audience and their perception of your business. So now that you've gone through steps 1 through 5 and you have a clear understanding of your product market fit and your audience and what you need to say to resonate with them, now is the time for your vision to come back into play, and we figure out where those two overlap, almost like a Venn diagram. There's you and your business, there's your audience, and where they overlap in the center, that is your brand strategy. That is your brand, I should say. Number 7, this is the one everyone's looking for. This is customer activation. This is where we get to start to talk about if we do Facebook advertising or SEO. But even within that, even within customer activation, there's a few steps that people forget that are what make the Facebook ads or SEO work. You need to lay some groundwork. And so with this, I kind of talk about marketing metaphorically. Before you want to spend money to drive people to your business, you need to make sure that the infrastructure of your marketing is set up properly with clear highways and byways, and you've got wayfinding signage so that when you pay to send money to your marketing infrastructure, your clients can find their way, to you and through the process and ultimately to buy from you. For most businesses, the hub of this infrastructure is a really effective website. And in the course, I'm actually going to give you some frameworks and content outlines that can be used in tandem with your focus framework to make sure that the next website you do or the website that you have now can be edited to ensure that it's an effective intersection in your marketing infrastructure. So once you have that infrastructure, then you move on to your marketing action plan. And that's when we get to talk about all the tactics, the stuff that you're trying now and that you're guessing with. Now you'll have some insights to be able to choose. And this is where you'll probably get excited, a lot of you. Once you've got to this step, this is where you get to think about delegating your marketing. This is the point that delegation is possible. You can hand off the fundamentals of your marketing and of your brand to somebody else, and now they have a chance of making it successful. So if you want to delegate, if this is the ultimate goal, if you're done doing it all yourself, you've got to get to this point before you can do that. Okay, and the next step, guys, this is really where you step up. And it's not about brand domination, because a brand doesn't dominate. A brand leads. This is brand leadership. This is what we're all driving towards. If you are an entrepreneur that desires to change the outcome of people's lives, and I hope you are, this is when you really get to start doing that. It's from this place that you have authority, goodwill, and credibility to start influencing, inspiring the way people think. This is what influencer used to mean. This is when your job shifts from, doing to almost 100% leading, whether that be your employees, your clients, or a movement. So that's how you change the game for your business, guys. It's an introduction, and I hope you find it valuable, and we'll go much deeper in the course. But when you follow this process, and I'll underscore 1,000,000 times over, it's a process. Remember, 10% creative, 90% process. Well, this is what I mean, right? Very little time here is spent in dreaming up campaigns or crafting clever copy. Everybody thinks marketing is like an episode of Mad Men. It's not. When you do this right, those sexy elements are icing on the cake. Simply nice to haves. And for a small growing business, they're actually not essential. Don't take this lightly, guys. This 8-phased approach is the secret to our agency's ability to repeatedly build internationally award-winning brands and marketing. When we do this for our clients, it's just steps 1 through 6, as I mentioned, are $30,000. Or you could learn to master and understand this process so that you can lead your company from business to brand, this business or any business. And in case you're wondering why I teach this, I still have an agency and we still want more clients. There's 2 reasons. One is purpose and one is abundance. So purpose for me, as I've shared before, I believe that supporting the success of small business is the way to change our communities. 80 to 98% of the population in our province or country is employed by a small business. I'd like to empower those small businesses to do more, to do better. Number 2, abundance. Here's the thing. I can't help every small business within the agency relationship and structure. There's just not enough hours in the day. Right now, our agency can support somewhere between 12 and 20 businesses a year. Through this course, my goal is to empower 400 business owners this year. And though I don't have any expectation, and there's no commitment or trick to convince you to do so, I believe that if we do a good job of teaching you, when you grow your business and you're ready to double down on your impact by hiring a creative agency to magnify and illuminate your message and brand, you might consider Rex. The abundance mindset is critical to every entrepreneur. I've been known to say it when it comes to industry collaboration. Don't compete, collaborate. Well, I feel the same about my small business owners in this community that we're growing together who want to take this course. Not teaching you is essentially like competing with you. No. Let's collaborate and grow. So right now, you're either like, oh my gosh, like stop talking, or you're like, that was mind-blowing, it makes perfect sense. I know exactly what I've been doing wrong. Or maybe you're like, can we talk about those Facebook ads and whether or not I should do SEO? And here's the thing, I'm just gonna be brutally honest. If it's the latter, if you're still thinking about what tactics, if you should be doing Facebook, Instagram, or SEO, this is probably not the course for you. And this is way more powerful than that, guys. Those tactics are temporary. This framework for building your marketing or brand strategy is evergreen. It never outdates. That's because it's deeply rooted in research and understanding of human psychology and sociology. Remember, as technology changes, all of those tactics, those change or they outdate or they go away. This framework will keep you focused, in control, and systematic in your growth. And in case you're concerned that you don't know, what some of the terms are that we talked about today, I'll be teaching you all of that. I'll be giving you the teaching and the tools. I'll take you through it step by step. And by the end of this course, you'll have the marketing knowledge pinned to a process. So now let's look forward to the next video, because I know that all of you won't buy this course, and I want to give you some value that you can execute right away to improve your marketing right away. What I talked about today was like a game changer, but it's still high-level strategy. So if you're looking for something you can do now, my hope is that I can support you to make some changes. Maybe they'll help you through this COVID slowdown, or you can work on them through this COVID slowdown so that you can come back and gain market share. Did you know that through tough economic times and black swan events like COVID, it tends to hurt small businesses the most? But there's also a connection to massive growth for businesses that find a way to power through. Small businesses that find a way to power through. I saw it in 2008 and 2009 during the recession and after 9/11. So, could this be your inflection point? This really could be your inflection point. So, back to what I want to teach you in the next video. I want to share with you the 3 most common mistakes I see in marketing that keep you competing on price, which is just a race to the bottom, and it will kill any marketing message before you get out of the gate. I'm also going to teach you to increase your customers' perception of your value and authority. And in light of these challenging times, I'm going to give you an exercise to do that's going to help you connect with your clients meaningfully, even if right now your business is halted because of the social distancing requirements. That's it. I'd love to hear from you guys. Leave me a question or a comment. Tell me what you learned. And if you had any BFOs, those blinding flashes of the obvious, let me know. And tell me if you're excited for the course. Before I go, just a reminder that 6 of the 10 spots are sold to eager entrepreneurs who booked an interview with me and decided to secure their spot. And you can do that too. So if you're worried about a spot not being available to you when you make a decision, right now is an opportunity to click the link wherever it is nearby and click on my Calendly and book a spot. Okay guys, I will see you in the next video.